The things we miss. Fade in. Interior photography studio day. A dark room. A red safe light is the only source of illumination. A woman's hands dip photo paper into chemical trays.
There's a technique we're all familiar with. Usually we feel it before we know we're looking at it because it is, in essence and intent, evocative.
She clips the photographs to dry on lines overhead.
Multiple exposure. The superimposition of two or more images in a single photograph.
Photos sway. Landscapes, abstracts, the human form, all in complex interplay, dreamlike, surreal.
The effect is created by exposing the film multiple times without advancing to the next frame. Each image contributes its own narrative.
Jamie Brennan, 30, surveys her photos. Her eyes dance with the sharp deliberateness with which she does everything.
But it is the combined effect of those converging stories that the magic lies, because we instinctively ask how those multiple interpretations can coexist.
She comes to rest on one photo, a pregnant mother superimposed into the face of a child superimposed into the silhouette of a woman on the beach.
Two or more different experiences of a single truth, or perhaps two or more different truths in a single experience. That happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Interior lecture hall day. Jamie continues her lecture before a half-empty college class. Slides of her photography are projected on a screen.
Of course, before the advent of digital photography and photo editing software, this was all done completely in camera. And that's still my preference.
Jamie looks out at her students, slumped and disinterested, most of them on their iPhones.
Today, you can spend 99 cents on an app that lets you achieve this effect with just a few touches of a button, because everyone's a photographer now.
Someone coughs. Several students get up and leave.
So, sure, you can go that route, but you'll miss things.
Interior Photoshop day. A young mother, 20s, holding a baby and orbited by a squirmy toddler, inspects the photo canvases she's picking up. Typical strip mall studio prints, nothing particularly inspired.
Oh my god, they're perfect.
Jamie stands behind the counter watching blankly.
Look, Joshy. Remember when we went to the lake and you wore your little suits? They're from my husband. He hates pictures, but he's gonna love these. I just know it. You did these yourself?
I just fed the negatives into the machine. The computer does most of the work.
Oh shoot, maybe next time I'll do it myself.
I'm exaggerating. I can do it. It's what I do most of the time. This is just like a pay for the bills kind of thing for me.
Ugh, I could never be an artist. I'd constantly wonder if it was worth it.
Jamie gives a tight, forced smile.
I'm glad you like the photos. It's nice to know what I do matters.
Best Father's Day gift ever. Do you have children?
No, I don't.
Oh, sorry.
Jamie masks her annoyance. She gets this a lot.
It's okay. Not everyone's meant to be a mother, right?
Young mother blinks at this foreign idea. Jamie shifts awkwardly, compelled to explain herself, as she often is.
I'm actually going through a breakup right now. My ex-fiance and I don't exactly see eye to eye on the subject, so...
Oh, is your biological clock ticking?
No, but his is.
But this is too much for young mother. Her eyes fill with tears.
Are you okay?
Young mother fans the tears away, rallies.
I guess then, at least you've got your art, right?
Interior photography studio, night. Jamie throws the light on, harsh fluorescence. She makes a beeline for the photo of the mother, child, and woman, tears it down. She stands surrounded by photos, limp and lifeless, rips them all down, shoves them in the trash. She throws open closets and cabinets, revealing dozens of file boxes filled with old photo albums. She dumps it all. At last, only the studio equipment remains. Jamie scans the room, nods as if to convince herself of something, slips out the door. In a low cabinet in the corner, just barely visible through the half-cracked door, a single box remains. Interior Jamie's parents' home, night. A solidly middle-class home, modest, well-kept, very quiet. There's an air of contained repression here. Jamie bursts into the kitchen, laden with groceries.
Sorry I'm late. Had a few things to wrap up at work. Y'all in there? I have an announcement. I hereby declare this National The Past Can Kiss My Ass Day.
She grabs a bottle of wine and 3 glasses and bursts into the living room.
Shall we toast?
She stops suddenly. Her face drops. Jamie's parents, Carolyn and John Brennan, 60, stare back at her. John, mild-mannered and steadfast, stands behind his wife. Carolyn, normally ever poised and fully present, looks pale and utterly devastated.
What's happened?
Interior airplane, day. Jamie and Carolyn fly in silence. Carolyn at the window stares out across the clouds. She fingers the pendant on her necklace, 2 interlocking circles with a small open space where they overlap.
Mom?
Carolyn simply reaches back and takes Jamie's hand. Exterior cemetery, day. A group of mourners congregate before a coffin bedecked with flowers. An officiant addresses the gathering.
Beloved friends and family, We gathered today to honor the life of Juliet Catherine Wade.
Jamie stands beside Carolyn, who holds herself motionless.
We trust that she is now beyond sickness, beyond fear, beyond pain.
Carolyn trembles. Jamie steadies her.
And we remember the timeless words of 2 Corinthians. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all.
Jamie scans the group across from her. She locks eyes with Wryn Wade, 30s, who stares squarely back at her with dormant volatility. Wryn is damaged, no doubt, but she holds the hand of her son Knox, 6, with a fierce kind of love. Jamie flinches, averts her eyes, steps slightly behind her mother.
So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal.
Jamie raises her eyes again to find young Wryn, 7, staring back with that same razor-sharp focus. There is a faded, ethereal quality to this memory. Flashback 2, exterior Juliet's house, front porch 1989 day. Young Jamie, 7, peeks around shyly from behind her mother's dress. A Kodak starter camera hangs around her neck. Carolyn, 30, smiles warmly. She holds out a loaf of bread to Juliet Wade, 30s, who remains behind the screen door. Juliet has that caged look of a broken-winged songbird, but her eyes are intense and alive.
Morning. We just moved in down the street. I wanted to say hello. I'm Carolyn. This is my daughter, Jamie.
Young Wryn steps out boldly onto the porch, takes the bread.
That's very kind, thank you. I'm Juliet. This is Wryn.
Why is she hiding behind you?
Wryn, manners, please.
Carolyn draws young Jamie out from behind her.
Jamie's a bit shy at first.
Young Jamie and young Wryn size one another up.
We won't keep you, just eager to meet. It's a pleasure.
She extends her right hand to Juliet, who offers her left hand to shake. Juliet holds her right arm close to her body. Her wrist is swollen and bruised.
You know, I was in nursing school before I had this one. I could take a look?
Interior Juliet's house, living room, 1989, later. Young Jamie and young Wryn watch Carolyn tenderly wrap Juliet's wrist in a bandage.
Continue to ice it. I don't think it's broken, but the sprain's bad.
It hurts a lot.
I'm sorry. Almost finished. Let's try to focus your attention on something else.
Carolyn scans the room, spots the art on the walls.
Tell me about your paintings. Do you know the artist?
I do, actually. They're mine.
They're lovely. I'm in awe. I don't have a creative bone in my body.
I don't believe that. You're a mother. You're inherently creative.
Carolyn looks into Juliet's eyes. A moment. Carolyn spots a bruise on Juliet's forehead, gently brushes back her hair to see. Juliet flinches at first, then relaxes.
I need you to know this. I'm here for you.
Crash! A flash of light. Young Jamie whirls around to find her camera on the floor, its lens shattered.
My camera! It was an accident.
You broke it!
I didn't mean to.
Oh, Wryn.
You dropped it on purpose. Did not. She did, Mom.
But Jamie, you
I
can't
know.
just accuse people of...
She was sitting on the floor. There was no reason for it to drop so hard. She slammed it down on purpose.
Both mothers turn to young Wryn, who stonewalls them.
I'm so sorry. We'll get you another camera.
Not at all. These things happen. And Jamie has several others already, don't you?
Young Jamie fights back tears, nods. Exterior Juliet's house, 1989, later. Carolyn leads young Jamie by the hand down the walkway.
Sometimes it's more important to understand than it is to be right.
Young Jamie glances back at young Wryn, who watches her from the porch with a strange ambivalence. Back to present day. Exterior cemetery, day. Jamie breaks her stare from Wryn.
So let us also take comfort in these words. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us.
Carolyn chokes back tears loudly. The gathering turns to stare. Jamie tightens her grasp. She looks towards Wryn again. She's gone. Exterior cemetery parking lot, day. Jamie escorts Carolyn towards a waiting car. Opens the door for her. Carolyn stalls.
Would you please give Wryn and her father my condolences?
What? You're not coming?
I'm going back to the hotel.
Mom, I can't face Wryn alone.
Mom, please, Jamie.
Juliet was your best friend.
I'm not going. No, please, stop.
Carolyn gets in the back seat, closes the door. The car drives off, leaving Jamie alone. Exterior Wryn's parents' house, day. An upscale SoCal home, towering palm trees. Jamie exits a taxi, makes her way up the front walkway, rings the doorbell, smooths her skirt, breathes. The door opens. Wryn stands there, sourly. She cops a sly attitude.
Hey there, boobless. Nice to know some nicknames stand the test of time.
Hello, Wryn. Wow, over 15 years and you go straight for my chest.
I know. It's amazing something so small can be such a fertile source of inspiration, though these many years.
Jamie bites her tongue. Awkwardness. Wryn laughs, self-satisfied, and pushes the door open wider.
Come on in. We've got a shit ton of cheese. Take all you want.
She leads Jamie inside. Interior Wryn's parents' house, foyer continuous. A tiled entryway, flowers on the console table.
I'm not staying, I just wanted to express my sympathy to you and your father.
How sweet. He's in here with 50 of his closest friends. He didn't invite Moms because, you know, she wasn't allowed to have friends.
Wryn stops, turns squarely back to Jamie.
Oh, wait. There was that one.
She bores a hole in Jamie with her eyes.
My mother sends her condolences.
She's not coming.
I'm sure she'll follow up with your dad.
Right.
Wryn opens two large doors leading to the living room. Wryn and Jamie take their place along the black wall. Mitchell Wade, 60s, addresses a group of men in suits, glasses raised. Charismatic, moneyed, handsome, he's a master at managing impressions.
But then again, I'm not a perfect man, right? And God knows I've made my share of miscalculations. But that's between him and me.
Wryn watches her father like a hawk.
There's one area of my life, though, where I really hit the mark, and that was marrying Juliet. She was patient, she was mild, and she always believed the best. We had our challenges, God knows that too. But I can honestly say, the years I spent married to Juliet, my beautiful daughter Wryn, were the happiest of my life.
Wryn leaves the room.
To Juliet!
To Juliet.
Mitchell throws his drink back in one gulp. Exterior Wryn's parents' house, backyard, later. Jamie leans out the back door, finds Wryn sitting on the steps, tossing a ball with Knox.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm leaving.
So soon? You're gonna miss the piñata.
Wryn's cavalier act dissolves into a sudden, sullen darkness, her thoughts far away. Jamie observes her for a moment, searches for words.
Your boy's adorable.
Long silence. Jamie sits down on the steps next to Wryn, leaving a wide space between them.
I heard he had a son, but not much else.
No? Shocking, since we just spoke like 2 decades ago.
I just mean, it was a surprise.
So was he, as it turns out.
Is your husband here?
Wryn gives Jamie a sideways look. Seriously?
Oh,
What about you, Niplets? What's your sitch? You finally marry your camera?
Jamie laughs in spite of herself.
I don't know. Maybe I did. I think I'm finally looking at a career change, though.
Well, hold up. Are you gonna get all open and real with me? Because if so, I should go pee first.
Jamie stares at her, insulted.
I'm teasing. Go on.
No, it's okay. Never mind.
Oh, come on. Talk. You're really giving up photography.
I'm not sure. I don't like the direction things are moving in, so who knows?
Well, by all means, don't wait and see where things might go. You should take a flamethrower to it and walk away, like you do, right?
Jamie searches Wryn's face. What's her angle here?
I'm joking. No kids for you?
Jamie proceeds cautiously.
No, I was engaged, but we had different opinions on...
So he dumped you.
Jamie stares at her in disbelief.
You dumped him. See what I mean? Flamethrower.
People are allowed to break up.
Sure. So what's your deal? Afraid you'll fail as a mother?
Wow, really?
What? I just know how you are.
You do not.
Okay, geez, whatever.
Long silence. Jamie stews. Can't let it go.
I watched my mother flatten out into this two-dimensional version of herself and fade into the background of my life. She gave up her career, her hobbies, her passions. I'm just not willing to do the same.
Does your mom know you have such a low opinion of her?
I don't. Not at all.
It's a pretty bleak take on motherhood.
I just know what I saw.
An odd shift in Wryn. She seems to pull in. She takes a photograph from her pocket, loses herself in it. Jamie sits uneasily in the silence.
Okay. So this was fun. Always a pleasure to see you, Wryn.
Jamie stands to leave.
I need to show you something.
Wryn holds the photo out to Jamie, who takes it hesitantly.
What's this?
The photo is faded, curled at the corners. Jamie and Wryn, both 9, on the beach. Wryn has Jamie in a headlock. She holds the camera out in front of them. Jamie strains for it.
Where did you find this?
In my mother's hand when she died.
Jamie studies the photo.
What do you see in it?
We're at the beach house, maybe 4th or 5th grade. You've got me in your signature death grip.
What else?
It's pretty worn out, Wryn. What do you want me to say?
Look in the background.
Jamie looks closely. Carolyn and Juliet, 20 years younger, stand together just down the beach from the girls.
Ah, look at those two. They were sure BFFs back then, weren't they?
Look at their faces. Look at their bodies.
In the photo, Carolyn and Juliet touch at the fingertips. Carolyn's free hand rests on Juliet's waist. Juliet's eyes are fixed on Carolyn. Carolyn steals a glance over her shoulder at the girls.
I don't look at my friends like that. Do you?
What are you suggesting?
Wryn can't quite bring herself to say it.
There were moments I remember that didn't make sense to me at the time. Little ways they spoke to one another or touched, and now this.
Wren, it's a photograph. That's just the position their bodies happen to be in at the moment you snapped it. You can read anything you want into it.
I think you're wrong.
You can't be serious.
Why is the idea so outrageous?
I'm not outraged. It's just laughable. You don't think after all those years we would have known something was going on? My God, we slept in the same bed with them.
If it's in that picture, it may be in others. And you took thousands.
Realization washes over Jamie's face. The photos are gone. Wryn fights back tears. She reaches down deep.
It would just be nice to know that someone loved my mother the way she deserved.
Jamie hands the photo back.
I'm sorry, Wren. I just can't believe it.
Keep it. You're probably right. You always were.
Wryn disappears into the house. Jamie remains with the photo. Knox eyes her. Interior hotel, night. Jamie lies in bed, studies the photo. Carolyn is curled up in the next bed. Jamie crawls in with her mother, whispers low.
Ma, are you awake? When did you last see Juliet?
It's been years, honey.
Why did you two fall out of touch?
Long pause.
Sometimes people just disappear.
But who did? You or her?
Silence. Jamie concedes, returns to the photo. She looks closer. Some kind of symbol appears to be scrawled in the sand at Carolyn and Juliet's feet. The sound of the ocean drifts in. Flashback to exterior beach, 1991 day. High tide, crashing waves, the beach house in the distance. Young Wryn and young Jamie, both 9, run and splash. Carolyn and Juliet, both 30s, walk ahead. Laughter. Juliet traces something in the sand. Young Jamie focuses her camera on their mothers against the horizon. Young Wryn knocks her arm.
Cut it out, Wren, please.
What's the matter? Can't focus?
No, I can't.
Why not?
You're gonna make me drop my camera.
Young Wryn grabs young Jamie, puts her in a tight headlock. The mums don't notice. The waves drown out the girls' voices.
Stop it, you're hurting me.
Young Wryn forces young Jamie's arm out in front, points the camera back at them.
Take a picture of us.
Let go.
The camera clicks. Young Wryn drops young Jamie face first into the sand, stands over her.
Why did you do that?
I told you to take a picture of us for a change. You'd never do.
Young Jamie stares, confused.
You should see your face.
She snaps a photo of young Jamie.
There. Now you can.
She drops the camera in the sand and rushes off, back to present day. Interior hotel, night. The memory fades. Jamie stares at the ceiling. Exterior Wryn's parents' house, front porch, day. Wryn opens the door to find Jamie there. A taxi waits at the curb. Jamie holds the photo out to Wryn.
I'm returning this. I don't want it.
You mad at me, Whisper Tits?
I just don't want any part of your dredging up the past with you.
Jamie continues to hold out the photo. Wryn doesn't take it.
I need to see your other photos.
Which other photos?
All of them.
I can't help you, Wren.
Can't or won't?
Wryn is relentless. Jamie glances towards the cab. Carolyn waits inside.
We have to get to the airport. I'm sorry.
Jamie turns to go.
Just do one thing for me then. I promise. After that, I'll disappear forever.
Interior Wryn's parents' house, bedroom, day. Wryn leads Jamie into a dimly lit bedroom. A quilt-covered bed, a vase of flowers, little else. The room is heavy and still.
I seriously have 2 minutes.
I won't be long. I just need you to stand at the door and tell me if my father's coming.
Wryn flies around the room in a frenetic search, inside drawers, under pillows, etc.
What are you looking for?
I don't know. Anything. She was holding that picture. I know she wanted me to find it.
This is where she passed?
She was too weak to take the stairs at the end, I guess, so Dad set her up down here.
You guess? You weren't in touch with your mother?
I wasn't in touch with my father. There's a difference.
What happened?
He gave me 24 hours notice. By the time I got here, she was gone.
And you had no idea she was sick.
Wryn shrugs, thinly veiling her pain.
It wasn't unusual to go a year without speaking, but this time we didn't have a year. I'm sure she tried to reach me, but as always, there were obstacles.
Wryn sharpens her focus on the search, now under the bed. Jamie absorbs what she's just heard. Wryn pops up.
Look!
In her hand is a green pen.
Wryn.
Looking for something?
Jamie and Wryn jump as Mitchell blows into the room. Jamie steps to the side against the wall. He passes without noticing her.
You could just ask, you know.
Wryn fixes a steely stare on him, but there's fear in her eyes. Jamie observes.
Sneaking around looks suspicious.
Wryn freezes. Jamie steps forward.
It's my fault, Mr. Wade.
Mitchell whirls around to face Jamie, thrown off.
Juliet was very special to me. I asked Wryn if I could say a prayer for her in the place where she passed.
Mitchell registers who Jamie is.
Is your mother here?
She's waiting outside. She sends her condolences.
Mitchell looks between Jamie and Wryn.
Don't mess with anything. I've got things the way I want them. And keep this door open.
He storms out.
Wryn, I think we should...
Such a fucking control freak. Can't remember the last time you let us close a door in this house.
Realization hits Wryn. She looks at Jamie with wild eyes, rushes for the door, pushes it closed. On the backside, in large Roman numerals, LXXXIX scrawled in green ink. Wryn and Jamie stare in disbelief. Jamie checks the photo in her hand. She slowly turns it over to reveal PN89 on the back, also written in green ink. She looks at Wryn.
Still not convinced? She's trying to tell us something.
Interior Daniel's apartment, night. A hip little studio apartment. Photography, art, music. Daniel, 30s, Jamie's ex-fiancé, leads her in from the hall. Kind eyes, soulful carriage. He'd be tough to get over.
You came straight from the airport?
I dropped Mom off, but then yeah. I'm sorry it's late, Daniel. I should have waited.
It's alright, I'm up.
I swear, I'm not trying to...
You already explained.
It's just...
Jamie, we're cool.
Jamie takes a deep breath, exhales.
I think Wren's crazy. She's always had this way of pulling me into her chaos when we were together.
And yet, here you are, apart. You sure you want to do this?
Interior Daniel's apartment, later. They sit at Daniel's computer, one component of an extensive setup. Printers, scanners, enlargers, ultra-modern. Jamie hands Daniel the photo. He slides it into his scanner, boots up the computer.
I feel like I'm betraying every conviction I hold right now.
Technology's not your enemy.
You're right. It's my arch enemy.
Daniel deftly multitasks at the computer. There's an easygoing familiarity between them. They're good friends, despite everything.
You know, you could learn to do this yourself. It's not that hard.
No thanks, I am fine becoming a dinosaur.
What are you afraid of? Failing?
Wow, have you been talking to Wren? No, I would just prefer my legacy to not be that I helped make myself obsolete.
It's not really yourself, though, is it? It's just what you do. There's a difference, right?
I don't think you and I draw that line quite the same.
Pause. Something shifts in the conversation.
You think if you commit to things in a new direction, you'd be giving up some part of yourself?
I'm afraid I'd lose myself altogether.
And you choose to believe you have to choose?
A tight-chested strain hangs in the air.
We're not talking about photography, are we?
The photo appears on the screen. Daniel breaks away.
So, this is it?
Jamie nods, shakes off the moment. Daniel begins tweaking the image digitally. Jamie points to the blurry symbol drawn in the sand.
I want to know what that is.
Daniel adjusts color, clarity, contrast, filters out the noise and scratches, sharpens everything. At last, the photo is sharp and clear. Jamie leans in. On screen, in the sand now clearly visible, the symbol is two interlocking circles, the exact symbol from Carolyn's pendant. Jamie sits stunned.
What is it?
My mother has a necklace with that symbol on it. I hadn't seen it in years. She wore it to the funeral.
Looks like a Venn diagram.
Jamie eyes him curiously.
The two circles only partially overlap, otherwise they're separate entities. That tiny space in the middle is what's shared between them.
Jamie takes a moment to absorb this.
We spent 2 months every summer with Wren and her mom when I was growing up. Her dad moved them to LA, but they had this cozy little getaway cottage further up the coast. It was always just the four of us, Wren, me, and our moms. The only place our lives crossed.
Her mind is spinning now. She takes the photo, paces the room.
Could mean anything, Jay.
You're right, it could.
She flips the photo over, runs her fingers over PN89. She scans the room for inspiration. Her eyes fall to the bookshelves. An idea strikes. The books are arranged alphabetically by author. Jamie scans them up and down, side to side.
What are you trying to prove here?
I don't know, maybe just that Mom was in there after all? That would be huge.
Her eyes stop on a book on the highest shelf. She brings it down, flips through the pages, finds what she's seeking. She reads in silence at first. Her face floods. At the top of the page, Sonnet LXXXIX, Pablo Neruda.
When I die, I want your hands on my eyes. I want the light and wheat of your beloved hands to pass their freshness over me once more. I want to feel the softness that changed my destiny.
Visual of the photo, close on Carolyn and Juliet, laughing, touching.
I want you to live while I wait for you asleep. I want your ears still to hear the wind. I want you to smell the sea's aroma that we loved together, to continue to walk on the sand we walked on.
Gossamer memories of Carolyn and Juliet in motion now. Faraway laughter, their bodies very close. Beams of sunlight and the crashing waves obscure them from the view of young Jamie 9 on the sand.
I want what I love to continue to live, and you whom I loved and sang above everything else to continue to flourish full-flowered,
Carolyn and Juliet lean in closer.
so that you can reach everything my love directs to you,
Enveloped in summer sunlight, their faces inches from one another.
so that my shadow can travel along your hair, so that everything can learn the reason for my song.
The sunlight overtakes them fully. Jamie stops reading. She looks up at Daniel.
It's Neruda. Juliet used to recite this poem to us at night before bed.
Daniel watches her wrestle with the poem.
I have to find Wryn.
She bolts for the door, leaving Daniel alone. Exterior beach day. A gusty, gray day. The weather-worn beach house faces the ocean, tired but holding on. Jamie exits her rental car, scans the view. The beach is empty for miles, except for Knox, who tosses shells up into a flock of seabirds. They swoop and scatter.
Hey there, Knox, right? We weren't really introduced. I'm Jamie. I grew up with your mom.
Nothing.
Hey, you might want to be careful. You're getting awfully close to hitting them. Or maybe that's the point?
Jamie gives up, looks towards the house.
Mom says the trick's to aim for the space between. You never really want to hurt him. You just want him to know you can.
She said that?
Knox throws another expertly placed toss.
Do you ever miss and hit the bird?
It happens.
Music wafts down from the house and mixes with the sounds of the ocean.
Guess I'm going up.
Jamie climbs the long wooden staircase up to the house. Knox watches her go. Exterior beach house, day. Jamie reaches the top of the stairs. The music is louder now, some kind of hard-driving classic rock. She absorbs the age and condition of the house. The front door is slightly ajar. Jamie pushes it open slowly, inches her way inside. The music swells. Interior beach house, continuous. Furniture covered with sheets. Everything feels very settled.
Wryn, hello?
Jamie passes the kitchen, rounds the corner to the living room. Old LP records lay strewn about the floor, separated from their sleeves. A shelf of albums stretches across one wall. Standing in the middle of the mess, Wryn jams to the music. She rips another album out, shakes the sleeve, drops them both to the floor.
Wryn!
Wryn looks up, registers Jamie.
Shut up. Are you kidding me?
She shuts the music off.
What are you doing here?
I'm not sure exactly.
You flew your almost days all the way out here to see me.
I went to your dad's first. He didn't know where you'd gone, so I thought,
Did you tell him you were coming here?
no, why?
It's just better that way.
Jamie scans the floor.
What's all this? What are you looking for?
Clues. I know they're here.
Find anything?
So far, I'm guessing Olivia Newton-John in the lounge with the lead pipe.
Does this help?
She tosses Wryn the Neruda book. Wryn opens it to the marked page, reads, looks up in grateful disbelief.
Where should I start?
Montage. Jamie throws the sheets off the furniture in a cloud of dust. Wryn opens the windows. They sweep, clean, move boxes, reset chairs, make up the bed. Knox helps. They open cabinets, closets, drawers, check the highest shelves, flip through the pages of old books, search everywhere. End of montage. The house looks somehow more alive, but no clues. Interior beach house, deck, night. Full moon. Jamie and Wryn recline on deck chairs. Wryn smokes a joint. Jamie jots notes on a list.
We'll need to go to the store tomorrow. There's nothing here.
There's beer and goldfish. We have the basics.
We'll need a few things for the house, too.
Look at you nesting. See? You're totally maternal.
Jamie gives her a look. Wryn smirks. Jamie checks her phone.
There's no cell service here.
Are you serious?
What? I told my parents I'd check in.
Is that a flip phone?
So,
So, is everything about you frozen in 1993?
shut up. just because I won't participate in the dehumanization of our species.
I'm gonna throw it in the ocean while you sleep.
You better not. You never know when we might need this thing.
Yeah, like if we need to call AOL.
Knox bounds up the stairs onto the deck, dripping. He carries a flashlight and a bucket.
Whoa, hold up, pirate. What's in the bucket?
Bunch of hermit crabs. I'm gonna cook them up and eat them.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Why not?
Because I'm not taking you to the emergency room while I'm high.
They're not poisonous. They eat them in Africa.
So go to Africa.
I'm doing it.
Knox heads into the house.
You do, and I will sick one of those in your privates, mister. You know, that's maternal. Watch and learn, boobless.
Jamie chuckles.
Look, Wryn, I think we need to establish some ground rules here.
Yeah, no shit. Because I'm not going to deal with your bad boundaries and your mental health issues and your flash temper. Or your ironic tendency to project.
Okay, so you get me.
I'm actually possessed of remarkable self-awareness, Flatty. There's a trust thing here. I get it.
Jamie settles back, relieved.
It's why I haven't asked to see your photos yet.
Jamie freezes all expression. Long silence. Wryn stares out over the ocean, suddenly serious.
My memories are shot. I don't know what happened. It's like I'm looking at my life in a strobe light. And I see these flashes of frozen moments, but I can't hold them. And I know there's motion and meaning and some kind of through line in the dark spaces between them, but I can't get there.
And you think if you could see our old photos, it would all come back?
I just want my mother.
Wryn stands up, heads into the house. Jamie glances down at her notepad, realizes she's doodled the symbol of the interlocking circles from the patio, from the photo. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, bedroom, night. Carolyn's hands sketch the overlapping circles symbol on a pad of paper. She sits at her desk, staring absently at it. John steps in the room, carrying a meager plate of food.
You should eat, Carolyn. It's not much, but I did my best.
It's fine, thank you.
John looks around the room blankly.
I loaded the laundry in the machine. I guess I don't really know how to operate it.
I'll do it, thank you.
Well, if you need me, I'll be in the study.
John stops at the door.
You know, you don't need my blessing to mourn her. You have it, though. You always had it.
John retreats from the room. Carolyn stares out the window, fixes her gaze on a small cafe table and 2 chairs in the backyard. Laughter echoes. Flashback to exterior Jamie's parents' home, backyard, 1989 day. Young Jamie and young Wryn, 7, splash in the sprinkler. Carolyn and Juliet, 30, sit together at the cafe table, sipping tea, laughing.
Oh my god, you are kidding.
Bless his heart, the man cannot boil water. He's such a good guy, but he's totally helpless.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh, of course, it's totally my fault. I've done everything for him for 10 years. Why should he know how to do anything himself?
Well, if you enjoy what you do, I think that's the difference.
I do. I enjoy it very much.
They smile at one another. Carolyn grows pensive.
I do wish sometimes he were a little less up in his head and a little more down in his body with me. But then when he is, I'm not so sure. Sorry, is that too personal?
I like personal.
I guess every marriage has its thing, right? I should shut up.
No, please don't.
A strange, loaded pause.
What about Mitchell? Is he in his body with you?
Probably not in the way you mean.
Carolyn accepts this with a concerned nod.
I don't know. Sometimes I just wish I had a wife.
What a funny thing to say.
Is it?
She looks directly at Carolyn, holds her gaze. Ding ding! The hall clock snaps Carolyn out of her memory. Back to present day. Interior Jamie's parents' home, living room, night. Carolyn sits alone at the desk with the circles on the page and the chiming clock. She glances at the calendar, July 15th. Interior beach house, day. Wryn throws open the curtains. Morning sun floods the room. Jamie jerks awake on the couch, squints in the light. Knox holds out a cup of coffee to her.
Rise and shine. Get up.
Interior beach house, later. Jamie sits at the kitchen table, caffeinated now. The photo and poetry book lie in front of her.
Let's go back.
Jamie's not clear what's expected of her in this moment.
So, a year ago, today, right, your mom was diagnosed with cancer, It's everywhere. She's given less than 12 months to live.
Wryn paces the floor and nods.
She dies holding a photo of us and a cryptic code that leads to a love poem, and my mom won't say a word about her. That's all we know.
Wryn sits down at the table across from Jamie.
Further back.
How far?
All the way.
Jamie collects her thoughts for the task ahead.
Summer before second grade, we met when my dad takes a job at the university and we move in 4 houses down from you.
Choppy, silent fragments of memory underscore Jamie's retelling. Series of short scenes. Exterior Jamie's backyard, 1989. The sprinkler spins. Young Wryn and young Jamie, 7, splash it. Carolyn and Juliet, 30s, chat together at the cafe table as before.
Our moms have hit it off, and for the next 2 years, we're thrown together every week to play.
Carolyn and Juliet smile at one another over the rims of their teacups. Young Wryn chases young Jamie around the side of the house. They squeal and laugh. Suddenly, young Wryn pins young Jamie to the wall and forcefully pulls the front of her swimsuit down. Young Wryn laughs cruelly as young Jamie struggles to cover herself. Young Wryn runs off, leaving young Jamie confused and embarrassed.
Just before 5th grade, your dad, without explanation, up and moves you all to California.
Exterior Wryn's driveway, 1991. Young Jamie, 9, and Carolyn watch as young Wryn's 9 family car backs out of the driveway. Carolyn's face expressionless. Through the car window, Juliet meets Carolyn's eyes. Young Wryn looks at young Jamie through the rear window, gives her a small, sad wave. Young Jamie snaps a photo. The car drives away.
He sets you up in LA, buys an investment property on the beach, further up the coast, never comes here himself.
Exterior beach house, 1993. The house in its early days. Open and inviting. Fresh flowers on the porch, festive strung lights, windows open.
So we do. Every summer straight through high school, whether I want to or not.
Carolyn and young Jamie, 11, step out of their car. Juliet bounds down the stairs from the house into Carolyn's arms. Young Wryn, 11, trails her. Young Jamie and young Wryn watch their moms, look to one another ambivalently.
Some summers were better than others.
Exterior the beach, 1995. Teen Jamie and teen Wryn, 13, Carolyn and Juliet, 30s, all play on the beach together. Teen Wryn and teen Jamie snap pictures of one another with an underwater camera. Silly faces, cheeks puffed out. Teen Jamie frames a shot of teen Wryn swimming from below. The surface of the water ripples with sunlight. Carolyn and Juliet appear as a wavy image above teen Wryn.
Some I wish I could erase forever.
Exterior beach house, 1997. On the stairs, teen Wryn, 15, in heavy smeared makeup and visibly drunk, shoves teen Jamie, 15, away from her as teen Jamie tries to steady her. Teen Wryn stumbles into the house with teen Jamie trailing. They discover Carolyn and Juliet, 40s, asleep on the couch together. Empty bottles of wine on the table in front of them. Teen Jamie looks thoroughly disgusted with them all.
And that's how it went, until I decided I wouldn't go that way anymore.
Exterior beach house, 1999. Teen Wryn, 17, mature and hardened, stands alone on the balcony. Jamie is noticeably absent. Far below on the beach, Carolyn and Juliet, 40, stroll together arm in arm. Teen Wryn tracks them with her eyes, looks out towards the horizon, her face a mix of anger, pain, and fear. End memory sequence. Wryn remains very still, her eyes closed.
Wryn?
Wryn's eyes snap open. Visibly shaken, she throws on a hard, bitter mask.
This was pointless.
She storms out of the room. Exterior beach day. Wryn sits alone, runs her fingers through a small pile of broken seashells on the sand next to her. Jamie approaches cautiously.
Hey, look, I didn't mean to upset you. You said you wanted to go back, so...
You know what I always hated about this beach? I hated that it was impossible to find a complete seashell anywhere. I don't think in all the years we came here I ever found a single whole shell. Just a bunch of ugly, beat up fragments.
Yeah, I guess the tide's pretty rough here. I never knew that bothered you.
Wryn gets to her feet.
Well, now you do. You know, there's an entire coastline here. There's no reason to be right on top of each other.
Wryn walks away further up the beach. Jamie drops her eyes to the pile of shell pieces. Flashback to exterior beach, 1993 day. Young Wryn, 11, dumps a pail of shell fragments on the pile. Young Jamie, 11, studies them.
I told you, it sucks.
Maybe we can work with it.
Screw that.
Juliet and Carolyn, 30, sunbathe a few yards away.
Wryn, wash your mouth, please.
But look at this shit.
I said that's enough.
Young Wryn pouts. Juliet gets up, goes to the girls, kneels on the sand.
Let's see what we have here.
She sorts through the shell fragments, arranging them by color, shape, and size. Juliet's eyes dance over the shelves. The girls watch her work. Carolyn leans in to see too. Piece by piece, Juliet fits the shells together until she has created a beautiful starfish on the sand. Young Jamie lights up. Young Wryn remains stoic.
You see, my loves? Things don't have to behold themselves to be part of something complete.
Young Jamie snaps a photo of the starfish just as the tide rolls in and washes it away. Back to present day. Exterior beach day. Ocean water splashes Jamie's feet. She looks down the beach. Wryn is far away. Exterior Jamie's parents' home. Front porch day. Knock knock. John opens the door. Mitchell stands there.
Hello, John.
Mitch, what brings you here?
Just in town for a meeting. Thought I'd drop by and pay you and Carolyn a visit.
Do you work in this area? Would have thought most of your business out on the coast.
My business is where I make it. Mind if I come in?
Interior Jamie's parents' home. Living room. Minutes later. Mitchell inspects the living room. There's a thinly veiled nervousness in his energy. John eyes him closely.
Place hasn't changed a bit. Always liked it here. It's, homey.
Thank you. We enjoy it.
Mitchell looks through the blinds to the backyard.
Remember those times before we moved away? Cooking out in the backyard. You did a mean ribeye, my friend. Carolyn around?
She's taken a while. This has been hard for her. And you have my condolences.
Mitchell helps himself to a seat on the couch.
Remember how those two used to just disappear on us? The girls would be playing and you and I were stuck together at the grill with nothing to say. Then they'd just run off.
They were close.
That's one word for it.
Do you need something, Mitch?
I'm just wondering how you dealt with that. Not to get all personal.
What are you talking about?
Come on, John. You're a nice guy, but you can't be that nice.
If you're asking me if I felt threatened by Wise's friendship, the answer is no.
Friendship is one thing. Fidelity is another.
John shifts on his feet.
Oh, you missed that part, huh? Ever wonder why we moved? I wasn't about to stick my head in the sand. No place for that in a marriage.
Silence. Eye lock.
What? You don't agree with that?
I think there are many ways to remain faithful and committed over the course of a lifetime. And many ways to break your vows.
Well, aren't you enlightened?
I don't know about that. I do know you could have moved her across the globe and it wouldn't have kept them apart.
Mitchell glares at John.
I didn't miss a thing, Mitch. Not one thing.
Interior beach house, kitchen, evening. Jamie enters the kitchen, preoccupied. Knox reaches for a cabinet. They startle one another.
You need something? I'm hungry. Have you seen my mom?
She should be up in a bit. Maybe I can help?
Knox sits at the table. Jamie checks the cabinets.
Gosh, it's pretty bare in here, huh? You like pickles?
Knox shrugs. Jamie takes down a jar, pops it open, joins him at the table. Knox fidgets with something in his lap.
What you got there?
Knox reveals a basic 35mm camera, circa early 90s. Jamie lights up.
Where'd you find that?
Just in the hall closet.
I think that was probably mine. May I?
Knox hands her the camera. She studies it nostalgically.
Wow.
How's it work?
You really want to know?
Knox nods. She opens the camera to show him the inside.
So, this is your film chamber, and right here's the lens. That's where the light enters. Watch this.
She presses the button and the camera clicks.
Did you see that little hole? That's called the aperture. When you click this button, the shutter opens briefly to let the light in. And when the light enters the camera, it causes a chemical reaction on the film, and that makes the image. Cool, huh?
Knox takes the camera for a closer look.
Uh-oh, someone's nerding out.
Jamie and Knox turn to find Wryn in the doorway.
Careful, buddy. Old Chesty here will turn you into a fossil.
Jamie watches Wryn closely.
I think it's cool.
Great.
Wryn grabs a beer from the fridge.
No, you're right. Photography is totally cool. Damn shame she's abandoning it. I mean, who's gonna take in those pictures of beach grass when she's gone?
Your mom's teasing me. When we were kids, I liked to take photos of simple, ordinary things and turn them into beautiful works of art.
She says modestly.
Jamie bites her tongue.
But, you know, when you have no problems and your life is boring and conventional and empty, I'm sure you do whatever you can to spice things up.
Jamie glares.
And it's sad, you know, because now any schmo with a smartphone can basically do what she spent years learning to do in a fraction of the time. So you can imagine how scary it must feel to be making that inevitable slide into obscurity so young.
Okay, what is this? What are you doing?
Woo, careful. You're scaring the kid.
Mom, what's going on?
Nothing. She does this. It's her thing.
What the hell does that mean?
Language. Jesus.
I want to know what you meant by that.
Nothing. It's just you've got this thing where you feel like you're losing control when you just kind of blow things up.
When? When have I ever done that?
Look, I don't want to start a thing here.
A little late for that, isn't it?
Wryn laughs. She's pushed all the right buttons.
I'm just thinking about that time we were playing that board game. Remember this? And you had to choose between going back to school to become a doctor or staying a plumber. And you got so pissed off at those choices because you wanted to be a photographer and that wasn't an option. So you threw the entire game across the room. Do you remember this?
Jamie blushes. Knox witnesses this exchange nervously.
Life. That's what it was. Freaking life. How could I forget? I kept saying, this is your life, boobless. Make a choice. And you finally got so mad you just snapped and ran out of the room.
Wryn imitates Jamie overturning the board game. Jamie remains very still until she's done.
Oh yeah. And remember how disgusted your mom was with you? And how she checked up on me to make sure I was okay?
Wryn's expression instantly changes.
I do.
Jamie glides victoriously out of the room. Interior beach house living room, night. Jamie lies awake on the couch, staring at the ceiling. She closes her eyes, rolls over, buries her face in the pillow. Begin flashback. Interior beach house, living room, 1993, night. A woman's hand touches young Jamie, 11, on the back. She rolls over on the couch to find Juliet, 30, smiling kindly at her.
Hey, sweet girl. You okay?
Young Jamie sniffles, sits up, makes room for Juliet beside her.
It's no fun feeling like you have no good option, is it? Especially when someone else is forcing you to choose.
Juliet wipes a tear from young Jamie's cheek.
It's like, inside of you, you know what you want, but it's just not on the table, is it? So it feels impossible.
Young Jamie does her best to follow.
You know what? I'm proud of you. Just for knowing you can throw the whole damn game out and walk away if it gets to be too much. That's very brave. I'll have to remember that.
Juliet smiles warmly, touches young Jamie's cheek.
Just be careful. Sometimes the best things happen in the midst of the worst things, and you don't want to miss those.
Young Jamie closes her eyes, leans into Juliet's touch. Back to present day. Interior beach house, living room, night. Jamie is just on the verge of sleep.
I actually liked your beach grass photos.
Jamie's eyes snap open. Wryn stands silhouetted against the light in the hallway. Wryn clicks the light on.
They were boring as fuck, but kind of cool in a haunting, desolate kind of way.
Wryn sits down across from Jamie.
I don't think there's anything here for us to find. I think I'm stuck with my little memory fragments and a bunch of unanswered questions. Gotta figure out how to let it go, I guess. Anyway, thanks for coming. You can leave in the morning if you want.
She leaves the room, clicking the lights off. Interior beach house, day. Jamie's hands zip up her suitcase. The sheets from her bed on the couch are now neatly folded. She sets the suitcase down, turns to Wryn and Knox.
At least we tried, right? Never hurts to try.
Wryn nods, no words. Knox stomps out of the house. Wryn and Jamie hold one another's gaze.
Okay.
She takes her suitcase and turns for the door. Knock, knock. Jamie and Wryn look to one another, alarmed.
Are you expecting someone?
Of course not.
Wryn opens the front door. A sunny home inspector with a clipboard stands on the porch.
Morning.
Yes,
Are you the lady of the house?
I'm a lady in a house.
Right. Is Mr. Wade in?
He doesn't live here. What do you need?
The inspector consults his clipboard.
I'm with Signature Home Inspections. I have orders to be here today.
Why do we need an inspection?
Yeah, it's pretty standard before a property like this goes on the market.
Wryn looks to Jamie, shell-shocked.
He knows we're here.
I won't take much of your time. Just need to have a look around. May I?
The inspector passes by Wryn, disappears into the kitchen.
Son of a bitch.
She storms out to the porch. Exterior beach house porch, continuous. Jamie follows Wryn out.
He's hell-bent on destroying everything good about her for me.
Why? Why is he doing that?
Because he's a dick.
There's more to it than that. What happened? You and your dad were so close.
We weren't close. We were fucked up. Oh, that part escaped you too.
Wryn stomps down the stairs to the beach. Jamie watches Wryn walk out on the sand. She takes Knox in her arms, kisses him, holds him tightly. Wryn turns slowly to look back up at Jamie. Begin flashback, exterior beach house deck, 1993 day. Young Jamie, 11, watches young Wryn, 11, from the deck. Young Jamie's POV. Young Wryn gives her a searing look from below on the beach. Young Jamie retreats into the house. Interior beach house, 1993, continuous. Young Jamie moves slowly through the quiet living room, down the hall where she hears muffled voices and stops just outside the bedroom. The door is slightly ajar. Young Jamie peeks in, unseen. Interior beach house, bedroom, 1993, continuous. The room is basked in soft sunlight. The drapes billow. Carolyn and Juliet, 30s, lie on the bed.
No one would blame you, you know.
I just can't bring myself to it.
Why not?
How would I support myself? What would I possibly do? He'd destroy me.
On what grounds would he?
He doesn't need grounds. He only needs friends. He's got them in spades. He'd take Wryn in a heartbeat.
He wouldn't hurt her, would he?
God, no. He adores her. He'd never lay a hand on her.
Jamie peers in closer, careful not to be seen.
You sure of that?
That's part of his thing. Shower her with everything you withhold from me. She doesn't see it. She just knows Daddy's nice to her and angry with me. So I must be the bad guy. I can't gamble with losing her.
Long pause. They study one another's faces.
If I did run, though, I'd run to you.
Juliet's eyes fall to Carolyn's lips. Carolyn looks away.
Why does this scare you so much? There's nobody here but us.
Carolyn turns, her breath heavy, fear in her
I
eyes.
think for you, this makes perfect sense. In spite of everything, you have the freest spirit I've ever known. You don't ask yourself what this means. You don't wonder what it says about you. You live it.
Carolyn fights back tears. Juliet waits patiently.
But it terrifies me.
Because you think it's wrong?
Because I know it's right.
Young Jamie retreats slightly, confused.
All done inside.
Back to present day. Interior beach house hallway continuous. Jamie jumps, startled. Turns to find the inspector jotting notes.
I'm gonna let Mr. Wade know there's some pretty extensive water damage in the attic. Old roof.
What attic?
I'm sorry?
This house has an attic?
Sure. All these old beachfronts have attics across access through the hall closet ceilings. Pain in the rear to get to, but what are you gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna head outside.
He goes. Jamie absorbs this news. An attic. Interior beach house, hall closet, day. Jamie opens the door, clicks the light on.
Are you sure about this?
That's what he said.
She pushes aside boxes, looks up. A small door in the ceiling. She pulls on the thin rope hanging down. The door hinges open, revealing an extension ladder. Jamie straightens the ladder, sets its legs on the floor. They climb. Interior beach house attic, continuous. At the top of the ladder, Jamie feels for a light switch, flips it on. A few boxes stacked neatly. Behind them, shrouded in white sheets, something flat leans against the wall. Jamie and Wryn approach carefully. They remove the sheets, revealing a dozen or more portraits painted on large canvases. Jamie lifts one of the canvases to get a better look. A woman, reclining gracefully on a bed, nude. The painting is sensual, erotic, and it's Carolyn. They arrange the other paintings side by side around the attic, examine them. More of Carolyn in various poses, some of Carolyn and Juliet together, embracing, entwined. Jamie and Wryn remain in this space for some time, surrounded on all sides by the romance in these images. Wryn approaches one, traces a streak of gray in Carolyn's hair with her finger.
Look at this. Your mother's hair is graying in this one. You know what that means? They were coming here for years, long after you and I stopped.
Jamie stares at the paintings, her face awash with uncertainty, shock, and hope. Exterior, Jamie's parents' home, backyard, day. Carolyn hangs laundry on a clothesline, somber and focused. John steps out from the house.
I love that you still hang your clothes out to dry. Jamie would appreciate that.
Silence. Carolyn keeps working.
Any word from our little Luddite?
I'm sure she'll let us know when she's heading home.
John tries to keep the conversation afloat.
I was surprised she went out there. Been a long time since she and Wryn spent any time together. It'd be fun to be a fly on the wall, huh?
I just hope she's not letting Wryn hurt her. Sometimes I regret ever throwing those two together. It would have spared us all a lot of pain.
She picks up her laundry basket and heads inside. John remains in the yard, staring at the laundry billowing in the breeze.
You're not even listening to me. This is so unfair.
John turns toward the house, finds himself in a memory. Flashback to exterior Jamie's parents' home, backyard, 1999 day. Teen Jamie, 17, follows Carolyn, 40s, from the house toward the clothesline. Carolyn slams her laundry basket on the ground, tears the clothes from the lines.
You've had months to tell me this, and you choose the day before? You're right, I'm not listening.
What's going on?
I don't want to make the trip this year, Dad. Please talk to her.
She's waited until the last minute and now wants to change the plan.
I'm not saying change it. She can still go. I just don't want to.
Why? What's different about this year?
Nothing. That's the problem. It's the same thing every year. She and Juliet have a great time and I get stuck with Wryn.
She's your friend.
Have you seen the way she treats me? Have you heard the things she say? It's like you have no clue.
I know Wryn has her ups and downs, Jamie, but she values your friendship.
No, you value our friendship.
Carolyn freezes.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's true. I feel like Wryn and I are just an excuse for you and Juliet to have your time together. I don't get it. Why do we even have to be there? Why can't I just stay here with Dad and you go by yourself?
Carolyn looks to John, averts her eyes.
I will not discuss this further.
She storms away. Teen Jamie turns to John, her eyes pleading. The back door slams shut. John snaps out of the memory. Back to present day. Exterior Jamie's parents' home, backyard, continuous. John looks toward the bedroom window, sees Carolyn inside folding laundry. Interior beach house, kitchen, day. Jamie rounds the corner into the kitchen, still preoccupied.
There she is. Thought you'd never come down.
Jamie jumps at the sight of Wryn and Knox.
There's only so long I could stare at your mom's boobs and not wonder if you were adopted.
Wryn grabs a beer from the fridge.
You're sure in a better mood?
Yes, I am. We finally have visual proof that I'm only partially insane. That feels good.
Wryn chugs her beer.
And you know what I've decided? Fuck it. Fuck him. He's not selling this house. I'll fight him to the death for it if I have to. He can sign it over with my fucking corpse in it. I'm not leaving.
All right.
So let's celebrate. Get dressed.
What?
We're going out. I'm calling a last minute sitter, and you and I are going to that shitty club we used to hit up in town.
No thank you?
Hey, your love life needs a jump start, right?
Do you remember the guys there?
They were sweet. Teeth are overrated.
I'm good, really.
Don't be a pussy.
I'm not. That's insulting.
Yeah, I know. Get dressed.
Wryn stops at the door.
Who knows? We might actually have a little fun together for once.
She leaves Jamie with that thought. Exterior, Secrets nightclub, night. Wryn and Jamie, dressed up and way too sexy for this sleepy town, take in the full faded glory of their old haunt, Secrets, a shady, seedy spot. Music pulsates inside.
My God, it hasn't changed since high school. Like my bra size.
Oh, you beat me to it.
I'm really trying here, Wryn.
Let's do this.
Wryn charges ahead, Jamie follows, cringing. Interior, Secrets nightclub, night. Dingy and dark, 90s dance music, dated club lights spin around and bounce off the disco ball. Jamie and Wryn shout over the music.
I seriously feel like we've time warped through a black hole.
I know. It's awesome.
They head for the bar. A few local dudes look up at them, salivating. Wryn throws her arms around Jamie, pulls her close like a possessive lover.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Channeling our mothers?
Please don't. This is twisted on several levels.
Wryn hams it up, pretends to be her own mother, pawing at Jamie and speaking in that fake British accent Hollywood actors used in old movies.
Oh, Carolyn, I love you.
Stop it. Show some reverence.
I want you, Carolyn.
Jamie peels Wryn off, laughing in spite of herself.
We're so going to hell.
Let me paint you, Carolyn.
Wryn cracks herself up, glances back at the dudes who nod, undeterred and even hornier now.
Yeah, I think that backfired.
They quicken their pace toward the bar. Interior, Secrets nightclub, later. Wryn and Jamie on the dance floor, reviving their best high school moves. They're both loosened up by alcohol, but Wryn is noticeably altered. The dudes leer at them.
Want to give him a show for real?
No, absolutely not.
Wryn's dance turns suggestive.
Oh, come on.
Gross, Wryn. You're like my cousin.
So, we're probably into that.
You seriously have the worst boundaries of anyone I've ever known.
I really do. It's true. Cheers.
I'm gonna sit this one out. Party on.
Jamie leaves the dance floor. Wryn flips her the bird.
You're lost, bitch.
Love you too.
Wryn signals to the bartender for another drink, works the dance floor alone. Jamie takes a seat at a corner table, keeps a watchful eye. Wryn drinks, dances, drinks some more. Dude 1 and Dude 2 join her on the floor. They move together with her. Jamie stiffens as she watches. A strobe light pulsates, casting them in staccato. Jamie drops her eyes to her drink, looks back up. Begin flashback. Interior Secrets nightclub, 1997 night. Teen Wryn, 15, shit-faced, dances provocatively between two older guys, 20s. Teen Jamie, 15, sips water alone at the corner table, watching Wryn nervously. She goes to the dance floor, gets between the guys and Wryn.
We need to go. This isn't safe.
I can't hear you.
Yes, you can. Let's go. It's time.
Teen Wryn tries to pull Teen Jamie toward her.
Dance with me.
What? No.
Why not? Do you suck at it?
No, I just think we should.
Do you suck, Jamie?
Teen Jamie stares at her, not understanding.
Do you suck?
I'm going home.
You never have you?
Have what?
You know.
Wryn, we're leaving.
Teen Wryn reaches for Teen Jamie, gropes her. They struggle.
Jamie is a virgin.
Stop it!
Sweet little Jamie.
Don't touch me, you're drunk.
Never been kissed.
Get your hands off of me! What the hell is wrong with you?
Teen Wryn pulls Teen Jamie's face toward her, kisses her forcefully on the mouth. Teen Jamie pulls away, stunned. They stare at each other. Teen Wryn sways, dark, brooding.
Don't let anybody do that to you who doesn't truly love you.
Back to present day. Interior Secrets nightclub, night. Jamie snaps out of the memory, stands and heads for the dance floor. Dude 3 steps in her path.
Where are you going, beautiful?
I'm getting my friend. Excuse me.
Jamie tries to step around him, but he blocks her. Wryn tunes in.
Oh, things are just cranking up here. You can't leave yet.
Can I get by, please?
Come on, one more drink.
He tries to put his arm around her.
No, thank you.
Jamie pulls away, but he's persistent. Wryn goes into high alert, pushes the 2 dudes away from her.
Come on, baby girl.
Wryn loses it, charges at the guy.
Get your fucking hands off her. She said no.
Wryn attacks the guy. They fall to the floor. She wails on him.
Wryn, stop!
Get the fuck off me, crazy bitch.
A crowd gathers. The bartender tries to break up the fight. The struggle continues. Wryn bashes the dude's face.
I will tear you to shreds, you motherfucker.
Jesus
Wryn,
Christ.
please!
The bartender pulls Wryn off, kicking. She reaches for a beer bottle and hurls it at Dude 3, barely missing him. It shatters against the wall.
That's it. You're done. Get her out of here.
Wryn stops resisting, stands there catching her breath, tears streaming down her face. Jamie goes to Wryn, holds her face, makes her look into her eyes.
Wryn, it's okay. I'm okay.
Wryn shakes all over, looks around, mortified. The crowd disperses, the dudes walk away.
We have to go now.
Wryn concedes. Jamie helps her stumble to the door. Exterior beach house stairs, night. Moonlight. Jamie steadies Wryn, who's on the verge of collapsing up the long flight of stairs. Interior beach house bedroom, night. Jamie helps Wryn to the bed. They drop heavily. Wryn passes out, draped across Jamie's body. Jamie tries to gently remove Wryn, but she tightens her grasp. Jamie is stuck. She glances over at Knox, sleeping peacefully on a pallet on the floor. He grasps a well-loved stuffed bear in the same position as his mother. Jamie resigns herself to the bed, settles in.
This feels familiar. I remember this.
Yeah?
Those summers. You had no idea, but they were everything. The only time it stopped.
The only time what stopped?
Him.
Wryn drifts off. Slowly, Jamie wraps her arms around her friend, strokes her hair, holds her. Jamie listens to the ocean. Begin flashback. Interior beach house bedroom, 1993 day. The sound of the ocean through the open window. Young Wryn, 11, stands before a full-length mirror in a bikini. Her body is starting to develop, and this suit leaves little to the imagination. Young Jamie, 11, walks in wearing a modest one-piece. She sees young Wryn, stops in her tracks.
What?
Nothing. Is it new?
My dad gave it to me.
Your dad?
Did I stutter?
I just can't imagine my dad ever giving me something like that.
Young Wryn runs her eyes up and down young Jamie's body.
Well, why would he?
Exterior beach, 1993 day. Carolyn and Juliet, 30s, recline on the beach. Young Wryn and young Jamie descend the stairs behind them. Carolyn and Juliet spot young Wryn in her swimsuit. Carolyn can't hide her shock. She turns to Juliet, who looks like she's been punched in the gut. Young Wryn glides confidently toward the water, chest out, back arched to accentuate her rear. Young Jamie trails behind her, a total contrast in her awkwardness. She stops just within earshot of the mothers.
Did you know about this?
Her father gave her some birthday money. Told her to pick out whatever she wanted.
And you're okay with it?
What do you think?
Well, then why is she still wearing...
Just ignore her. She's trying to get me to react.
Well, don't you think in this case...
She told me that if I didn't let her wear it, she would finally tell Mitchell that you two have been joining us here. He cut off the trips.
This stops Carolyn.
All this time, he doesn't know?
This is our annual mother-daughter trip during his high season at work. That's what he knows, okay?
What's stopping her from telling him anyway?
Pause.
The fact that she adores Jamie.
Young Jamie absorbs the impact of this statement, looks to young Wryn at the water's edge. Young Wryn runs her fingers through her own hair like a model. Young Jamie goes to her. At the water's edge,
Are you showing off?
Depends. Are they watching?
young Jamie glances back at their mothers.
Of course.
Young Wryn smiles, wades out into the water. Young Jamie sits on the sand and watches young Wryn curiously. The mothers focus on their books. Young Wryn wades deeper. The water submerses her hips, her waist, her shoulders, her head. Young Jamie strains to see her. Seconds pass. Her breathing quickens. No sign of Wryn. More time.
Juliet?
Yes, sweetheart?
It's Wryn.
I know, love.
But she's...
I know, Jamie.
Young Jamie looks back toward the water. A long moment. Young Wryn's body floats up face down.
Oh my God, please look!
Carolyn and Juliet look up, spot young Wryn. Carolyn springs up, dashes toward the water. Juliet rushes after her.
Wryn?
She stops, knee-deep in the water, frozen, panicked.
Oh God, what's happening?
Carolyn swims out to young Wryn, takes her limp body in her arms, moves her to the shore. Juliet helps her lay young Wryn down. Carolyn kneels over her, turns her face toward her. Young Jamie watches from a distance.
Wryn,
Wryn,
can you
please
hear me?
Answer! Oh God.
Carolyn listens for a breath, checks her pulse. Young Wryn bursts out laughing, opens her eyes.
Big bunch of suckers. You should hear yourselves.
Carolyn is mortified. Juliet stumbles to her feet, says nothing, makes her way up the stairs to the house. Young Wryn watches her mother go. A flash of guilt crosses her face, but she pushes it away. Carolyn walks down the beach a few yards to calm herself. Young Wryn looks to young Jamie, who averts her eyes. She steps toward Carolyn and speaks to her turned back.
I'm sorry, okay? It was a joke. Thought y'all had a sense of humor.
Carolyn wheels around, grabs young Wryn, gets in her face.
I don't know what your story is, but you better figure out whose side you're on here, because someday you are going to lose her. Do you understand that? If you ever hurt your mother like that again, I will make sure you regret it.
She releases young Wryn, who stumbles back, shocked. Young Wryn adjusts her straps, hardens once more.
This'll be fun to tell my dad.
Young Wryn turns arrogantly and walks away. Carolyn seethes, looks down, picks up a stone from the sand.
Wryn.
Young Wryn turns back. Carolyn hurls the rock at her. It misses her face by inches. Young Wryn flinches, and the arrogance is instantly gone.
Have I made myself clear?
Young Wryn lumbers back to the house, her ego bruised. From the balcony, Juliet has witnessed this entire thing. She meets Carolyn's eyes. So much passes between them. Back to present day. Interior beach house, bedroom, night. Jamie stares at the ceiling, still holding Wryn. Interior beach house, bedroom, day. Morning sunlight pours into the room. A rustling. Jamie turns toward it sleepily, finds Wryn rifling through her suitcase.
What are you doing?
Wryn continues, undeterred. She's sullen, focused.
I've waited long enough.
Are you in my stuff?
Where are they? In your car?
What are you talking about?
Your photos. Where the hell are they?
Jamie sits up, struggles to focus.
You still want to see...
They're not here, are they?
Wryn, come on, just give me a moment.
Tell me you did not fly halfway across the fucking country and not bring your goddamn photos!
Jesus, Wryn, are we really gonna do this again?
It's the one thing
I never
asked.
promised you.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Wryn storms out into the living room. Jamie throws off the sheets, follows Wryn.
What is going on with you?
You were a waste, Jamie.
Is this about last
A
night?
fucking waste of time and space.
Because you're allowed to be vulnerable once in a while, you know.
Oh, I'm so glad I have your permission.
I meant with me. It's okay to be who you are with me.
Well, I don't know who else you think I've been all these years.
It wasn't your fault, Wryn. You were a child.
Fuck you, Jamie.
Wryn storms out to the deck. Jamie follows.
Those pictures won't bring her back, and they won't erase him.
Then what will?
Jamie freezes. Wryn rages through her tears.
I wasn't a child, okay? He told me if she ever found out, it would destroy her, so I let it go on and on for years until I couldn't stand myself. And then I left her alone with him, alone and scared and completely dependent. All those years, she stayed with him from me, and I left. Don't tell me I did nothing wrong.
Jamie remains still and silent. Wryn turns to face the ocean, collects herself. Long pause.
Well, aren't you gonna pull out your flamethrower and blow me up, now that you know?
Look at me. Whatever happened, no matter how many times and for however long, I am here for you. You will not lose me again.
Wryn struggles to hold back her emotion.
I just want to drown myself in memories of something better than him. But I have none.
Pause.
Come with me.
Interior beach house living room, moments later. Wryn sits on the couch, still shaken. Jamie pushes the coffee table aside, gestures to the faded oriental rug on the floor.
Tell me why this rug is here. I know you remember.
Wryn stares at the rug.
Close your eyes. We're 9 years old. It's our first visit to see you here. It's raining, so we can't go outside.
Wryn shuts her eyes harder. Faded memories flash in and out of focus. Begin flashback. Interior beach house, 1991 day. A stormy day. Curtains billow in the wind. Young Wryn and young Jamie, 9, stand at art easels.
Your mom said we could use her paints, which was a big deal because they were oils and she never let us touch those.
Juliet moves between the girls, gently guiding them. She smiles at Carolyn on the couch, reading.
So we're painting and laughing and having a great time.
Crash! An entire tray of paint splatters onto the floor. Juliet whirls around to see the mess, looks to young Wryn, who is frozen in shocked horror. Thick, colorful paint oozes across the floorboards.
You were terrified. It was in your eyes. You thought he'd kill her.
A frozen moment, and then Juliet gently takes the brush from Wryn, kneels on the floor, and slowly begins to paint. Young Jamie and young Wryn watch as Juliet blends the colors, pours on more paint, swirls, strokes. Her brushwork is gorgeous, unique, textured. Carolyn follows Juliet's lead, takes a brush, joins her on the floor. The girls follow suit. From above, the four of them centered in the giant, colorful flower mandala they are painting on the floor around them.
When it dried, we bought an oriental rug at the second-hand store and laid it over the painting.
Juliet and Carolyn carefully cover the mandala with the rug, replace the coffee table.
He never knew a thing about it.
Back to present day. Interior beach house, living room, day. Wryn opens her eyes. Jamie smiles at her.
That's how you erase him.
They pull the rug back. The flower is still there, faded, scuffed, but gorgeous. They kneel on the floor, run their hands over the design. Wryn's eyes fill with tears. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, bedroom, night. A shaft of moonlight through the open window. Carolyn lies awake beside John, who slumbers. She steals quietly out of bed. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, bathroom, night. Carolyn examines her washed-out face in the mirror. She turns on the shower. Hot steam rises. She steps in, pulls the curtain closed behind her, closes her eyes, lets the water wash over her. She turns to let the water hit her back, opens her eyes. Begin flashback. Interior beach house, bedroom, 1995, night. Juliet, 30, steps into the shower too, closes the space between them. They gaze at one another. Juliet leans in. Carolyn turns her face away. Juliet steps back, searches Carolyn's face.
See? You're not going anywhere either, are you?
He's given me no reason, Juliet.
The man hasn't touched your body in years, and you prefer it that way. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, but I can stand across the room from you and feel how much you want it.
We never vowed to be exciting to one another, only faithful.
And where do you draw that line? Because I feel like we crossed it a long time ago.
Carolyn stares at the drain.
I don't know what we're doing, and if I did, I still don't think I'd know how to do it. Take us out of this tiny place, and it just feels impossible.
Why?
Because when I go back, there's simply no place for this. It just doesn't happen there.
They let the water hit them for a long moment.
I can't take risks with the rest of my life simply because you represent what's missing in it.
And I'm telling you, I don't want to represent the things that are missing in your life. I want to be those things. And I think, if you're honest, you tell me I already am.
Juliet steps out of the shower. Back to present day. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, bathroom, night. Carolyn sinks to the shower floor, shattered. Interior, beach house, attic, day. Jamie sits on the floor, studying the paintings. Wryn pops up from the ladder space.
Everyone got their clothes on up here? Except our mothers, of course.
She climbs up and sits beside Jamie.
Hey, check this out. Knox found this old calculator downstairs. Still works. Look what I taught him.
She turns the calculator toward Jamie. On the screen, 55,378,008. She flips the calculator upside down. It reads, boobless.
That's some progressive parenting right there, Wryn.
I do try.
Jamie settles back into somber.
What's up your ass? Come on, spill it. You know I love when you talk about yourself.
I need to go home, Wryn.
Wryn doesn't react.
I have to get things back and figure out this whole life thing.
So that's what this is. You finally find out you had your mom all wrong, that she wasn't languishing all those years in some passionless void of motherly self-denial, and you can't handle it.
I can handle it.
You were just really counting on it. It'd be a lot easier to justify running from everything, wouldn't it?
Jamie stares at her, dumbstruck.
I refuse to let you get in my head right now.
Are you really going to jump ship on your work? It's been like the love of your life. Why now?
Jamie collects her thoughts.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what it means to be a photographer anymore. I mean, are we documenting life? Are we making art? Or are we just manufacturing reality?
Wryn listens patiently.
I mean, we snap every trivial moment we live. Put a filter on it. Try our best to make it into something more than it is. Then we share it, and it's like, it's not real until someone else validates us and tells us that it is. Everything feels like a performance.
So you're afraid to become a mother? Makes perfect sense.
Jamie isn't sure how to react. Affronted, validated, exposed.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Moms are the worst. Everyone running around with their wine and yoga pants, performing motherhood for one another. Alternating between laughing at themselves and desperate self-promotion because they fear that, without an audience, they'll get sucked into the black hole of erasure like their mom and their moms before them.
Jamie sits stunted.
Maybe?
Won't happen to you.
How can you be sure?
Because I know you. I have watched you your whole life nurture and develop and love your art with hardly a thought for yourself in it. Until now, you never asked if it was obscuring you or diminishing you, because it wasn't, right? It was giving full expression to the deepest parts of you. If that's not motherhood, I don't know what is.
Jamie hangs on Wryn's words.
But here's the thing. Your babies grow and change. They're supposed to. And when that happens, you've got to look deep down inside again and ask yourself, what other parts of me need life? And then you have to find the courage to let that grow out of you too.
They hold one another's gaze.
Okay. When does the trap door swallow me up?
I'm not saying you have to have a baby, but remember, whatever path you choose, just remember you're your mother's daughter. And she never lost herself, see? I'd say she did quite the opposite.
Jamie stares at the portraits.
I have to bring her back here. She needs to tell us the truth.
Are you telling me you still don't believe it? Are we looking at the same paintings? But do you think my mom came up here all by her lonesome, year after year, and did all of this from her sad, unrequited memories?
I have no doubt the love was mutual, but in a million years, I swear my mother would never let herself act on it.
You know, for someone who hates how other people manipulate their own stories, you sure are eager to control hers.
Exterior sky, day. An airplane streaks across the blue sky. Interior airplane, day. Jamie traces two interlocking circles in the condensation on the window, erases them with a single swipe, gazes out across the clouds. Exterior beach house, day. Knox plays on the beach. Wryn stands on the balcony, her eyes fixed on the horizon, her spirit sunken. Exterior Jamie's parents' home, backyard, day. Carolyn prunes the roses, her demeanor still, quiet. Jamie steps out onto the back porch, approaches nervously.
I'm back, Mom.
Hello, sweet. How was your trip?
Good. It's fine.
How's Wryn?
Oh, same as ever. And completely different.
She's been through a lot. I'm not surprised.
I think we worked through some stuff. I guess we'll see.
I'm happy for you two.
What else to say? Carolyn returns to her flowers. Jamie musters her courage.
I need to ask you something.
You just got home, love. Don't you want to settle in?
I know you loved her, Mom.
Silence. Carolyn remains stoic.
Didn't we all? There are many kinds of love, Jamie.
But only one like this.
Whatever reconciling you and Wryn may have done out there, let me remind you of her tendency to stir things up. I hope you're not getting sucked into something that she's...
You can't stay numb forever.
Carolyn turns sharply to Jamie.
What on earth makes you think I'm numb?
Jamie is taken aback.
Is it that I'm not broadcasting my pain for all the world to see? There is such a thing as holding on quietly to what we know to be true, and it's no one's business but our own.
You're not denying it then?
I'm saying I have nothing to say.
Carolyn returns to her flowers.
Come back with me.
Carolyn gives an incredulous half-laugh.
What are you scared
We're
of?
done here, Jamie.
Please, just tell me.
Why is this important to you?
Because I want to be wrong about you. I want to know you're in there. I want to know it's possible to be a woman and a mother and whatever else I choose without losing myself.
So, this isn't really about me at all. You're the one who's scared.
Fighting back tears, Jamie presses on.
You know what I think? I think you talked all around it. I think you let yourself come right up to the edge of it, and then I think you ran away because you were too frightened to live your life fully.
Carolyn is equal parts wounded and indignant.
You're your own woman, Jamie. Maybe you should stop looking so hard for ways to justify yourself, and look instead for what might be missing inside you.
Carolyn throws her tools to the ground and heads inside. Jamie remains shaken. Interior beach house, day. The house is still and hushed, the life gone again. Wryn wanders aimlessly, straightening a pillow here, a picture frame there. She makes up the bed, picks up a few of Knox's toys. Her eyes fall to the book of Neruda poems on the nightstand. She sits on the bed and opens the book.
We have lost even this twilight. No one saw us this evening hand in hand while the blue night dropped on the world.
Wryn lies down like a child.
I have seen from my window the fiesta of sunset in the distant mountain tops. Sometimes a piece of sun burned like a coin in my hand.
Juliet's arms wrap around Wryn. She takes the book, gently closes it. Flashback to interior beach house, bedroom, 1991 night. Moonlight and the sound of the ocean. Carolyn and Juliet, 30s, young Jamie and young Wryn, 9, lie curled up together in the same bed, the girls between their mothers. Juliet recites the rest of the poem from memory.
I remembered you with my soul clenched in that sadness of mine that you know.
The girls listen sleepily. Carolyn watches Juliet breathlessly.
Where were you then? Who else was there? Saying what? Why will the whole of love come on me suddenly when I am sad and feel you are far away?
Wryn pulls her mother's arms tighter around her, savors this moment of pure peace. Click, creak, back to present day. Interior beach house, bedroom, day. Wryn's eyes snap open. Someone has entered the front door. She freezes, listens, alert. The door shuts. Footsteps plod slowly upon the hard floor. It creaks under the weight. Wryn rises, slowly pads down. The hallway. Pauses at the end, peeks around the corner. Interior beach house, living room, continuous. Mitchell sits in the easy chair. He smiles.
Thought I might find you here, enjoying your staycation in my house.
This isn't your house. It never was.
I'm afraid the mortgage company sees it differently, honey.
Why are you here?
I was told I might have a few squatters on the property.
We're not hurting anything.
That's beside the point, dear. I don't know if you heard, but I'm liquidating a few assets. Can't be too cautious about protecting them in the meantime.
Bullshit. You're trying to erase her from me.
I'm surprised to hear you so sentimental about your mother. You had no problem giving her the silent treatment all those years.
I'll buy it from you.
Mitchell chuckles.
I know it's a shit heap, but I think you'll find a little out of your budget, sweetheart.
Stop calling me those names.
You used to like them.
Wryn seethes.
Well, if you didn't, you never let on.
Mitchell rises from his chair. His bravado fades.
Damn it. Let's drop all this. Leave it in the past. I didn't come here to do this with you, Wryn.
What did you come to do with me?
I've been checking on you. I know you're on hard times again, out of work, between addresses, and now with your mother gone.
Wryn manages to hold her stare on him. He keeps his eyes on his shuffling feet.
Listen, you can't stay here, but if you and Knox had a place,
He raises his eyes to Wryn's.
I could take good care of you, Wryn, if you'd let me.
He ambles past her, almost brushing against her body, and disappears down the hall. Interior hallway outside Daniel's apartment, night. Knock, knock. Daniel opens the door. Jamie stands there, smiling hopefully.
Jamie, what are you? Is everything okay?
Hey, yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to talk to you.
Right now?
I was hoping so.
Okay. What's going on?
Jamie realizes he's not inviting her in, but pushes past the disappointment, pulls her thoughts together.
Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about everything, and Daniel, I think I just needed a little time to sort through it all, but I'm ready now, and I know we have our differences, and some are major, but... Who is it, honey?
Jamie freezes. Daniel pushes the door open a little wider to reveal a young woman, 20s, with bright eyes, snuggling up next to him. Jamie looks as though she's been hit by a train.
Jamie, this is Rachel. Rachel?
Jamie,
Rachel releases herself from Daniel respectfully, extends her hand to Jamie. She's really lovely.
it's a pleasure to meet you. Daniel's told me so much.
Jamie shakes her hand limply. A heavy awkwardness hangs between them all.
Won't you come in? Have a drink with us.
No, I can't. Thank you. I was just in the area and I'm sorry.
Jamie gives up and walks away. Exterior, Daniel's apartment, night. Jamie bursts out onto the sidewalk. The tears come. Daniel emerges a few seconds behind her.
Jamie, wait.
It's okay, Daniel.
I didn't have a chance to tell you.
You don't owe me an explanation.
Of course I do.
Jamie stops, turns back.
How long?
Daniel shifts, looks away.
Longer than I've been out of the picture.
Been halfway out the door for so long, it seemed like it was just a matter of time for us.
Daniel, I was scared.
I'm not a mind reader, Jamie. That's true. Couldn't tell. All I knew was you'd been pushing me away, and one day you just bolted.
Yeah. That's what I do, isn't it?
I wanted different things. That's what she said. I'm sorry. I just couldn't see how we'd ever bridge that gap.
I've seen far bigger things bridged than this. Believe me, it's possible.
Jamie turns and walks away. Daniel watches her go. Exterior, Jamie's parents' home, front porch, night. Jamie trudges heavily up the front walkway, stops at the sight of Carolyn on the porch swing. She joins her mother. They swing in silence for some time.
I'm going to tell you some things now that I've never told anyone. I'd rather you know my whole story than latch onto falsehoods and half-truths that only hold you back from your own.
Jamie tunes in sharply.
I imagine you have a pretty good idea of how it began and where it went from there. So let me tell you what you missed.
Carolyn pulls her thoughts together.
When you were 17, you decided you'd had enough. You weren't coming with me anymore. And I was terrified.
Begin flashback. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, bedroom, 1999 night. Carolyn storms into the room. Teen Jamie, 17, follows on her heels.
You're not even listening to me!
That's right, I'm not.
Carolyn slams a suitcase on the bed, shoves her neatly laid out clothes in it.
Dad, please!
She can stay home if she wants to, Carolyn. I don't mind.
See?
Absolutely not. I told you, we're not doing that.
She's obviously...
Damn it, John, she has to be there.
John and Teen Jamie are shocked silent. Teen Jamie storms out. Long, long silence. Carolyn's body shakes. She fights back tears. John gets it. All of it. He goes to her and turns her gently to face him.
Carolyn, only a blindfold would miss what's going on here.
Carolyn listens without reaction. You
and I, we work well together. I don't want anything to change that. But I see the light she turns on and the life she touches in you. And it's so much more than merely working.
Carolyn shifts nervously. He steadies her.
I've examined my role in this a million times over the years. Could I have tried harder, done more, met this desire in some way better than I have? What I've come to see, perhaps more clearly than any of you do, is that this isn't an isolated desire for you. This is you. This is your truth. I'd have to be a small and cowardly man to hold you back from that.
You don't. I hold myself back.
Well, then stop.
Carolyn looks up at him.
Just stop holding back.
The realization of what he is saying becomes clear. Her entire body floods with gratitude. He smiles kindly, if sadly, at her. Exterior beach, 1999 day. Carolyn bounds up the stairs to the house, alone. Juliet rushes out to the porch to meet her. They grasp onto one another. Teen Wryn, 17, steps out expectantly, looks for Jamie, realizes she's not here. She storms off down the stairs towards the car and drives off. Carolyn and Juliet watch her go, turn to one another. Everything else disappears. Interior beach house bedroom, 1999 day. Carolyn and Juliet in a swirl of passion. Their mouths consume one another. They tear one another's clothes off, feel every inch of each other, at last. They fall to the bed, pause, momentarily lost in one another's eyes. Juliet touches Carolyn's face, fingers tracing her lips. Carolyn trembles. Juliet wraps her arms around her and pulls her mouth down to hers again. Interior car, moving, 1999, same. Teen Wryn zooms down the coastal highway, her face hard and angry. Interior beach house bedroom, 1999, same. Carolyn writhes as Juliet kisses her neck, her breasts lower. Carolyn runs her fingernails up Juliet's back. Juliet kisses down Carolyn's body, further and further down, and all the way. Exterior beach, 1999 day. Teen Wryn sits on the hood of her car, looks out over the ocean, alone. The wind whips through her. Angry, scared, deeply regretful tears in her eyes. Exterior Jamie's parents' home, porch, 1999 day. Teen Jamie, 17, at home on the porch swing. Her expression far away, as though trying to convince herself she's done the right thing.
Time was never on our side, so we made space. And when we were in that space together, it was infinite.
Montage, various. Exterior beach, dusk. Carolyn and Juliet, 40s, walk together, just the two of them. Exterior beach day, they swim and kiss in the ocean. Interior beach house, night. Juliet sketches Carolyn, 50s, in her book as she sleeps. Interior beach house, day, night. Candlelight, wine, dancing, laughing, the bath, the bed. Interior beach house, bedroom, night. They sleep, wrapped up in one another. End of montage.
Until one morning.
Carolyn and Juliet wake to find Mitchell in the bedroom watching them. Mitchell drags Juliet, only partially dressed, down the stairs and away, leaving Carolyn on the porch wrapped in a bedsheet, devastated.
We didn't dare communicate directly after that. We each traveled to the house on our own, hoping we'd find one another there.
Carolyn lets herself in the front door of the beach house, looks around. No Juliet.
We never did.
Carolyn sits alone on the couch at night, writes in a small leather-bound notebook.
So we began writing one another. We kept a journal for years. We hid it so he wouldn't find it.
Juliet writes now too. She looks out across the ocean. Full moon on the water.
One day last summer, I flew out there, but the key hadn't been left. I couldn't get in the house.
Carolyn approaches the front door and checks under the mat in the flower pots. She peers in the windows. The house is dark.
I hoped maybe that meant she'd gone into town for a few things. But she never came.
Night. Carolyn lays on a porch recliner. Her face is far away.
I slept on the porch that night, and in the morning I returned home. I never heard from her again.
Back to present day. Exterior, Jamie's parents' home, front porch, night. Jamie hangs on her mother's every word.
A year later, Wryn called. Juliet was dead.
Pause.
25 years, and I'm starting to forget her face.
Come back with me.
Carolyn looks doubtfully at her.
She's still there. Your space is still there. I think you're still there too.
I'm nowhere, Jamie, if she's not with me.
Jamie takes her mother's hand.
Please?
Exterior, coastal road, day. A gusty, overcast day. An afternoon storm brews. The wind bends the beach grass and whips up the sand. A car winds its way up the coastal highway. Interior car, moving, day. Jamie drives, stealing the occasional glance over at Carolyn, who fixes her eyes on the ocean. Jamie exits the highway onto a smaller road to the beach house, still obscured from view. They lean in a bit to get the first glance of it, Jamie's face full of anticipation. Carolyn braced and ready. Jamie's expression changes at the sight of something ahead.
Is that Wryn?
Jamie's POV. Wryn runs up the road toward them with Knox trailing. She waves her arms, her face panicked. She yells, but they can't hear her. Exterior road to beach house, day. The car skids to a stop. Jamie throws the door open, jumps out. Wryn runs up breathless. The wind is merciless.
What's happening?
Turn around, don't take her up there.
Why not? What's going on?
I couldn't stop it, I tried.
What are you talking about?
I'm so sorry, Carolyn, I really tried.
Jamie takes off, running up the road, calls over her shoulder to Wryn.
Take care of her!
She stumbles against the wind. The sand slows her. She rounds a shrubby sand dune. The house comes into full view. It is surrounded by a demolition work crew and equipment. A giant excavator with a long claw arm reaches up and rips into the roof. Clouds of dirt and debris swirl. Jamie stops, gasping for breath, shocked. The roof of the house is almost completely torn off. She charges toward the house.
Stop it! Stop, please, stop!
The destruction continues. The noise is deafening. The stairs. Jamie bounds up towards the house.
You have to stop this!
The foreman signals to the excavator driver to idle. The work crew stops, scowling at Jamie. Jamie reaches the top of the stairs, bolts straight into the house.
Hey, you can't go in there. It's not stable. Stop her.
Interior beach house closet continuous. Jamie throws the door open, yanks the ladder hatch down. Natural light from the open roof pours in. She climbs. Interior beach house attic continuous. The wind whips around the attic space. Rain falls. Jamie lunges for Juliet's paintings, grabs a few, hugs them close to her body. Rain pours down on the others. Their colors bleed. The canvas warps. Jamie looks around helplessly.
Why? Why?
The foreman pops up from the attic ladder.
Lady, you trying to get yourself killed? Get out of here.
Why are you here? What's happening?
Look, I don't have any say in this. I'm not going to lose my job today because you decided to commit suicide. Get the hell out of here.
Interior beach house, moments later. The foreman leads Jamie by the arm through the living room. He walks her right over the mandala, now exposed in the empty room. Creak. Jamie's footsteps on a shifting floorboard. She looks down, notices several loose boards. The foreman shuffles her along. She stops at the door, turns back, fixes her eyes on the loose boards in the center of the mandala. She frees her arm and darts to the floor, drops to her knees, frantically pulls up the boards.
Jesus Christ, what now?
Jamie discovers a small crawl space beneath the floor. She peers in and reaches down into the hole, lifts up 2 leather-bound books. One is a sketchbook, pencil sketches of all the images that later became Juliet's paintings. The other is a journal. Jamie scans it. 2 sets of handwriting, a dialogue. Marking the last entry is a necklace with a pendant, 2 interlocking circles, identical to Carolyn's. The page reads, July 14th, ready to overturn the game. Doctor's appointment tomorrow, then you. Please wait, Jay. Jamie is dumbstruck.
Lady, I don't want to call the police, but you're not leaving me much choice.
Jamie thrusts the books and necklace in her coat pocket. She stands and leaves the house. Exterior beach, day. Jamie descends the stairs as the demolition resumes behind her. Dust and smoke rise in giant clouds. The wind carries debris up and scatters it along the beach. Wryn and Carolyn meet Jamie at the base of the stairs. Carolyn rages through tears.
Is this why you brought me here? To see this? Like this could never bring any kind of closure.
Mom!
Carolyn wheels around on Wryn.
And you expect me to believe you had no idea that it's just a freak coincidence that today of all days this would be happening?
I swear, Carolyn, I had zero warning.
Do you two have any idea what it took for me to come here with you today? How could you not know about this?
She's on the verge of a breakdown, turns to face the ocean. A gust of wind deposits torn up debris at her feet. Carolyn looks down, picks up a strip of canvas, turns it over. Carolyn recognizes her own body in the image on the canvas. She turns back to Jamie and Wryn.
What is this?
Don't you recognize it? It's from Juliet's paintings. We found them in the attic. I thought if you could see them again.
What are you talking about?
The paintings.
I've never seen this in my life.
Jamie and Wryn look to one another. Carolyn works to grasp the existence of these paintings. She surveys the sand around her. More torn shreds of canvas. She picks them up one by one. Eyes, lips, fingers touching skin. Her aching is palpable. She looks at Jamie and Wryn, utterly lost. She holds the canvas strips to her heart, turns back to the ocean, and walks out toward it. Jamie and Wryn watch as Carolyn wades knee-deep into the water. She releases the canvas pieces and the tide carries them out to sea. Carolyn slowly walks away up the beach. Jamie feels the books in her pocket. Knox taps her on her arm. He points to Wryn, a little ways down the beach. Wryn is hunched over on the sand, balled up in grief. Jamie goes to her.
Wryn, are you happy now?
Jamie stops.
You couldn't just let them be, could you? You knew he was watching our every move, but you had to prove something.
I was trying to...
I know exactly what you were trying to do. You were trying to control every fucking thing. You're so self-righteous. Do you not see that about yourself? It's not real unless you say it's real. It's not true unless you say it's true. Your version of the story is the only one that matters.
Jamie is dumbstruck.
You're so cool, aren't you? So in control. Right up to the point where you think you might lose something. Then you destroy everything.
I didn't do this, Wryn.
Wryn turns squarely to Jamie.
Yes, you did. But hey, you're the flamethrower, right? It's what you do.
Wryn gestures widely at the scene around her.
Why don't you take the picture now, Jamie? It's all yours.
Wryn takes Knox by the hand and leads him away down the beach. Jamie looks between Wryn and her mother, now far away in the opposite direction. The wind blows and the demolition continues. Interior, Jamie's parents' home, living room, night. Carolyn slips through the front door and disappears without a word into her bedroom. Jamie steps into the house behind her, sets their suitcases down. John on the couch looks at her over his book. Jamie shifts uneasily.
I just wanted to help her, Dad. I feel like all those years I never realized how necessary I was to them, how inextricably bound up I was in their story. How can I not feel responsible now?
John chooses his words thoughtfully, as always.
I think it's hard when we overlap with one another. And you're right. Sometimes it's almost impossible to know where we end and another person begins. So when we see them suffering, their loss becomes our loss. Their pain is our pain. So we panic and we push. But sometimes, the best thing we can do is just let ourselves fade into the background for a while. Sometimes we just have to get out of the way.
Interior photography studio, night. Jamie sits on the floor in the center of the barren room. She thumbs through Juliet's sketchbook in her lap. The sketches are raw, rapidly executed in pencil, but still as gorgeous as the portraits they inspired. Jamie looks up from the book, scans the space around her. Her eyes glide across the bare walls, the ceiling, the cabinets. She spots something, stops suddenly. One cabinet left slightly ajar. Jamie leans in for a better look. Inside, barely visible, just the corner of a box. She goes to the cabinet and opens the door, reveals the box shoved to the very back. How did she miss this? She removes the box, sits on the floor, lifts the lid. Inside, hundreds of photo negatives, all labeled by date, mostly the 1990s. Jamie is stunned. Interior photography studio later. Jamie holds a negative against the light, studies it closely. She glances around her studio, its archaic equipment still and lifeless. Interior, hall outside Daniel's apartment, night. Daniel opens the door.
I need your help.
Interior, Daniel's apartment, night. Jamie settles in at Daniel's desk. Daniel flips a lamp on for her, powers up the computer equipment. Jamie slides a negative into the scanner and looks to the screen closely. Together, they tweak, adjust, filter, balance until the negative becomes a photo image on the screen. On the computer screen, 11-year-old Wryn swims in the ocean. An underwater image taken from below. Wryn smiles for the camera, cheeks puffed out, holding her breath, arms spread out wide and goofy. Jamie looks closer, manipulates the image to zoom in on the background. On the water's surface above, distorted by ripples, Carolyn and Juliet, waist deep in the water, face one another, their fingers interlocked, their hips almost touching. Jamie captures the image. Montage, Jamie at work. Jamie works throughout the night, scanning, editing, developing image after image. Her sharp eyes dance across the screen. She's got this. She places Juliet's sketchbook on the scanner. The rough pencil sketches appear on the screen. Carolyn reclined, sleeping. Carolyn and Juliet entwined. Jamie sharpens the lines, boosts the contrast, etc. Jamie lays her head on her crossed arms on the desk, sleeps. Daniel places a blanket around her shoulders, turns out the light. End of montage. Exterior, Wryn's parents' house, front day. Mitchell opens the door. Jamie stands on the front porch defiantly.
Where is she?
You're certainly racking up the miles these days.
You would know. You've been trailing Wryn and me for weeks.
You girls.
He opens the door wider, steps aside for her to enter. Interior, Wryn's parents' house, foyer continuous. Jamie steps inside and looks around.
What makes you think she's here?
She has your grandson to feed and her life's a mess, largely thanks to you.
I see you inherited your mother's tendency to butt in where you don't belong.
You're hardly one to lecture on violating other people's space.
Beat. Mitchell laughs.
So, she's been at it again. Did she tell you how I behaved inappropriately with her? Kept her quiet all those years? How I'm the reason she can't get her life together?
Jamie holds her doubts at bay.
Did she tell you how badly I treated her mother?
They hold one another's stony stare.
Well, she has a spotless record when it comes to being trustworthy, right? So by all means, believe her.
I do believe her. Does that scare you?
What's going on here?
Jamie and Mitchell turn to find Wryn and Knox standing in the entryway.
I'm taking you two home with me.
Wryn reacts as if the word makes no sense to her.
Home?
This is all very valiant, but Wryn and I have a legal arrangement concerning my grandson's well-being.
It will need to be renegotiated.
You do have a high opinion of yourself. Wryn was right.
Say what you want. They're not spending another hour with you.
Mitchell hardens.
I've tolerated you here as long as I'm going to. Don't push me.
Let's make a deal then.
She pulls out Juliet and Carolyn's journal, holds it out to him.
I won't report your sick ass to the police, and you can hold this as evidence of your wife's infidelity.
She continues to hold the book out.
Go ahead. Take it. Do what you want with it. Destroy it. That's what you really wanted, right? Now here's your chance.
Mitchell eyes the book and Jamie suspiciously.
Or you can read it. Every last beautiful, sexy thought your wife ever had for my mother. You can read it over and over again, as many times as you want, and you can live with it.
She taunts him with the book. Long silence.
You do have one other choice. You can do one thing right with your pathetic life and set your daughter free.
Exterior, Wryn's parents' house, front day. Jamie, Wryn, and Knox hurry toward the car. Jamie clutches the journal to her heart.
That was one fucked up gamble. What if he'd taken it? We'd have lost that too.
I knew he'd never take it.
They climb in the car. Jamie locks the door. It's shaking. Interior car continuous. Jamie fires up the engine.
Besides, I made a backup copy on the way here.
How did you do that?
Jamie pulls out her phone, flips it open.
Did you know they're putting cameras in phones nowadays?
Wryn's face slowly morphs into an impressed grin. Jamie smiles back earnestly.
Welcome to the future, Wren.
Exterior, street day. The car speeds away down the palm tree-lined street. Interior hall outside photography studio day. Jamie leads Carolyn and Wryn down a long hallway. They glide silently with uncertain faces. They stop at the door outside Jamie's studio. She turns to them and smiles reassuringly.
I want you to know I heard you. When you talked about that infinite space you and Juliet shared, I understood. Because that was our space too, wasn't it? I didn't know it at the time, but I do now. In that space, frightening, shame-filled moments collided with sublime, transcendent ones, and we were a work of art.
Jamie opens the door. Interior photography studio day. Carolyn and Wryn step inside. They stop in their tracks at the sight. The room is transformed. No longer sterile and cold, the harsh fluorescence replaced now by a soft warmth. Overhead, stretched across the room, gorgeous, evocative photos, dozens and dozens of them. Mounted on the walls, large prints of Juliet's sketches on canvas, raw and mesmerizing. Laid out delicately on a table, the journal, the sketchbook, Juliet's necklace, and the photo that started it all. Lastly, on display, images in multiple exposure, memory overlaid upon memory. Carolyn holding Juliet's bandaged wrist, touching her bruised forehead, their eyes locked for the first time. Young Wryn's face seen through the rear windshield driving away. Young Jamie with sand on her face after young Wryn's headlock. Juliet embracing young Wryn, kissing her, young Wryn's face open, content, at peace. The seashell starfish, the mandala, the beach grass, Carolyn and Wryn move among the images and artifacts entranced.
I can't bring her back, but I know she's here. I can feel her with us. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us.
Carolyn wraps her arms around Wryn, who leans into her embrace.
So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen. Since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal.
Carolyn approaches a portrait of Juliet. Cathartic tears stream down her face. She touches Juliet's heart, closes her eyes, feels her.
Eternal and infinite.
Wryn sits in silence. Jamie waits for a reaction. Wryn turns to her and her face transforms into a lovely smile. Open, healing. She turns back to the photos. Jamie recedes into the background and slips out into the hallway. Interior hall outside photography studio, day. Knox waits for Jamie. They head down the hall together. Exterior photography studio, day. Jamie and Knox step out into the bright sunlight. Jamie slips her camera strap around Knox's neck. He runs on towards the park across the street. Jamie watches him snapping photos. She takes a deep breath, smiles. Fade out. The end.